and I thought we bring him on and answer some questions, talk about some things fitness related, some dating stuff. He's quite an interesting guy living in Miami, and I
South
recently what's that? Yeah. I recently learned about him through Rich and the other guys from Rule Zero, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to just have a little chat. So welcome, man.
Hey, well, thank you for having me on the show, John. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So how's things in Miami?
Great, man. I mean, besides this Corona bullshit, but we're pretty much we're just opening back up. The gyms, like LA Fitness, just opened back like last week, and then the gyms are slowly starting to open. The bars are still closed, so guys, don't book your travel to come here. Like South Beach is fucking closed. None of the bars are open. So there's a bunch of spring breakers and other people that just kept coming. I was like, what are you guys doing here? Like, unless you know people and you have like a house party you can go to, a mansion party, there's no point coming here, guys. But the rest of Florida is open. So like West Palm Beach. Broward County, Fort Lauderdale, they're starting to open up, but Miami is we're like the slowest, Miami-Dade County, because we have the highest population of COVID. So,
I see.
Yeah, okay. That's why we're so slow and behind everybody.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy here actually, where I'm at in Pacific Beach. It's like all these bars are open, and it's just like wild crowds. It's like you wouldn't even think anything is going on.
Yeah, dude. San Diego is fucking beautiful, man. Like, even though California sucks, but like that's one place that's besides the crazy taxes, it's I would take San Diego over LA any day, man. LA is a fucking dump, but
for sure. Yeah. So gyms opening up? This is I guess gyms are opening up here as well, but I haven't gone yet. I've still been doing the home workout. This has been kind of a good experiment though, right? Because everyone, like, I was always wondering, like, how fast will you really lose your gains, right? If you're just doing like body weight calisthenic type of exercises, and I haven't lost any muscle mass.
Yeah, dude, it's
in like 3 months. So
I'm gonna make a post on this. I like filmed a little bit today at the gym. I've retained like almost all my strength, and like I made a post about this too. And there's a couple studies that show this. As long as you're training fairly close to failure and you're lifting above 40% of your 1 rep max, you're probably going to retain muscle mass if you're like doing enough volume and an appropriate intensity. Like calisthenics is a great way to retain lean body mass and or even build. So it's like a lot of guys are like, I'm going to lose my gains. It's like, no, man. And even if you do, muscle memory is a real thing. Like you'll gain it back very quickly.
Yeah. I was surprised because like we don't really put it to the test because no one really wants to put it.
Yeah, no one wants to do calisthenics, dude. Like unless you're like broke as shit or you're like watching Hannibal videos from 2009 on the playground, like just fucking doing dips. But yeah, like everyone wants to lift at the gym nowadays. Like, the gym's like exploded, man. Like I'm 30 years old now, so I'm old enough to like remember guys like Z's and Jeff Seid and all these guys were huge about 10 years ago, and they really, I would say, like revolutionized the aesthetic movement in bodybuilding and getting a lot of young guys in the gym, which is great, man. I mean, a lot of guys were doing stupid shit, doing drugs and drinking and thinking like that's the cool way to go. In reality, like, to be a better man, like the gym is like your foundation of confidence.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens coming back to the gym now and seeing, if
for sure it's empty right now, dude. Like there's not many people there. Like there's like in Miami, like they kind of like put a line a little bit sometimes if it's like gets crowded because they only keep a certain amount of people in there. And you got to come in with a mask and in between sets you got to put it on. Like fuck that shit. You crazy? I'm training too hard to do that shit, man. I'm not. And then you got some dorks in there with their altitude mask. I'm like, what are you guys doing? But if I get the Rona, I get the Rona, dude. I don't care. Like it is what it is. I'll survive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if we get the newbie gains now.
Yeah. Seriously, right? Like I haven't lifted in a while. So no, it's a new stimuli now. It's good, man. It's good, but it's good to see the gyms back and like people getting back to normal. And it's not as like, because dude, it was like I took a couple of videos for my story and like it was a ghost town in Miami. So for the guys in here, I live in the Brickell neighborhood of Miami, which is like if you were to equate it, it's like the Manhattan of New York City. This is like the Manhattan of Miami, and the streets were literally barren. Like no one was out. Like it was crazy, man. And even now, we're still pretty strict. You can't go to CVS without a mask on, or Publix, which is a supermarket here in Florida. It's just wild, man. So it's good to see things getting somewhat normal. The bars still aren't open, which is what Miami's known for, which is kind of weird, but
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully things get back to
I hope so,
normal
man. Night game is like my favorite thing. So,
Yeah. That's it's I've been getting so many coaching clients that have been saying, hey, when are we going to go to Vegas? I'm like, you really don't want to go to Vegas right now, man. Like
they're just opening back up. I think they got like a couple casinos open. Like they're just starting to recover, and they were putting like crazy pressure. Like I know their mayor was going wild, like, oh, we need Vegas back open, or was it maybe the governor of Nevada? One of the two.
Well, can you imagine how much money they must have been losing? Like,
dude,
every day, like just ridiculous amount of money.
That state literally lives off of like vices. Like prostitution is legal, gambling is like just all over the place. Like it's just like that state just lives on it, So I can imagine how much money they lost.
Now, what about what do you do typically for workouts? What's your typical? Do you do bro splits? Do you do full body workouts?
This is great.
Yeah.
So personally, I'm kind of like you. I do full body movements. I like doing. So what I'll do is I'll typically do 3 full body workouts per week, and then I'll augment that with like weak point days. So for me, I got like these fucking skinny ass arms, right? So like I'll basically I'll do an arm day, and then I'll also not arm day. I'll do arms and shoulders, and I'll do that twice per week, and calves as well. And I do calves like 5 days a week. So like I'm in the gym 4 to 5 days per week, and then. And the other reason why is because like I've noticed when you split your workouts up and you do like full body movements, you can get better quality sets in, which means more volume. And then we all know volume is like a major driving force for hypertrophy. So, your bro splits are okay. Like I always tell my clients, like bro splits are like a suboptimal way to train. Like bro splits were kind of popularized in the in the 90s and the 2000s with like steroid using bodybuilders, and they would do one body part a day because they were able to like completely smash it and they were on drugs. So they would like super compensate with the drug use. But a natural, like you probably can't handle that volume. Doing 50 sets per chest 1 day a week is probably going to fuck you up. You're better off doing like an incline bench, then coming in a day or two later doing a flat bench, then coming in a day or two later doing a decline if you want to do that, and then splitting it up because each day you go in and do that chest movement, you're going to be able to lift more, which thus is going to lead to more overall volume because you're doing more weight. And you're getting better quality sets, which means better chances of hypertrophy. So, and there's a couple of studies too that prove that from Brad Schoenfeld that like, it's training a muscle group 2 times to 3 times per week is superior to 1 time.
Yeah. I kind of came across the same thing. I'd done bro splits for a long time, and I made
some same here. We've all done that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did okay with it, but I made big changes in my physique once I started going up to like 3 times a week full body. And actually I started doing like push and pull, like our upper body, lower body.
Too. Yep.
And I started seeing improvements there. And then I went to full body 3 times a week. And that's what I've been kind of sticking with now. And yeah, it's a lot less time, and I've seen a lot more.
And you're huge. Like you're like, because I'm 6'3", I'm around 200, 205. I fluctuate in there. You're what? You're like 6'3", 6'4", right?
Yeah,
like
I'm
210, 215.
6'3", and I'm about 225, 230.
No shit, yeah, you're fucking way bigger than me.
I got some years on you though.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. But no, so yeah, I that's how I like to train. I just typically like to get the frequency in, get the better quality sets, slowly get stronger over time. But I'm at a point right now where it's like it's a lot of maintenance. I'm just like maintaining my physique. I rode Division I in college for 4 years, and that really, there's nothing more painful than rowing. I don't care what anybody says. That's the most,
really,
get on an ergometer and do a 2K. That shit is the worst.
Yeah.
And I know people are probably going to ask in the chat right now, like, oh, what's your PR 2K? 609, which is like a 133 split, or no, 132 point something split. And then my 6K is a 141 flat, which kind of sucks. But then I did a 17K at 144.2, which I know people are probably going to ask all these numbers, like the rowers in here that might be watching. But yeah, rowed at Northeastern University in Boston.
Okay. Yeah, I've never actually done any rowing. I should try it sometimes.
It's terrible, dude. Don't do it. Yeah. It's the most painful thing. Like every rower is like kind of like a masochist on the low. Like it's very like that. There's no pain like it. Like the lactic acid burn. It's outrageous. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I've been doing. My big thing is running distance now. I've been doing. I just finished my.
Yeah, I've seen that, man.
Yeah,
like a guy your size running the mileage you're running, dude. You're fucking crazy, man. I'd be dead. I used to run a lot as like cross training for rowing. Like I would do log, 4, 6, 8 miles max. And I would be happy if I did like, 6 miles at a 6:30 pace. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm fast. But this was back in endurance days. But like, dude, you're killing it. You're like running like 10 plus miles and shit, like half marathons, stuff at your size. Like that's wild, man.
Yeah, I just did my first 50-mile race on last Saturday. That was definitely probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It took me 8.5 hours to run 50 miles. So it was like,
how much weight did you lose? Did you weigh yourself the next day?
Yeah, so I think I weighed in like 228 on that morning, and then right afterwards I was like 214.
Shit, dude.
So
like 10 pounds, just like almost 10 pounds just off, like just doing fuck.
And I was eating on the way and drinking, so like.
Yeah, were you like pounding Gatorades and stuff like that just to get the electrolytes in and avoid the cramping?
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got to pretty much plan your nutrition for like a 50-mile race. So I had like the whole packs with the specific amount of.
Do they still make those chews? I forget the name of them, man. There's like these chews that marathon runners would. Because when I was living in Boston, everyone was a fucking runner, so everyone had these like chews. This was like 2012. Like I don't know if they're still popular now, but
no, they have them. The problem is it's hard to chew and
run. Yeah,
so I either use liquid that's like a powder that I mix into my water, or goos that you just kind of slurp down, because the chewing and running is sort of
that's miserable. Like, who's the ultra? What's that guy's name? The ultra marathon guy. I read his book. I'm trying to remember. Someone in the chat.
Rick Roll or.
No, the guy, the ultra marathon man. He's the guy that like just runs miles and miles. Dean, maybe something like that. Oh no, not David Goggins. Not David Goggins. It's someone else.
No, you're thinking, Dean. I forgot his last name, but I know who you're talking about.
I was reading his
genetic
book.
Mutation.
Yeah, I was reading his book, and he like would talk about like ordering a pizza while he was running, and as he was running, he'd get the box, and as he was running, he was eating the pizza. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Oh yeah.
I was like, what? But I remember reading his book. My coach at the time, he has a blue check mark now. Brogan Graham. He's on Instagram. He's like the founder of November Project. He's like a huge endurance athlete, and he recommended the book, and I read it, and I remember reading that part. Like, and I hate reading too, but that was an interesting book.
Yeah, that guy's got some kind of a genetic mutation where he can run forever, basically. Like he doesn't feel the pain of it. Dean, I can't remember his last name now, but I know exactly what you're talking about. But
yeah. He's like I think the name of the book was like Ultra Marathon Man or something like that. Which, it was a good read. It was definitely a good read.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't realize. I mean, just how. How crazy it is, some of those guys, what they're able to do. There was a guy that just recently broke the 100-mile record on a treadmill, and I think he did it in like 12 hours. Like it's 12 and a half hours running 100 miles on a treadmill. Can you imagine that? Like he was running like sub 6-minute miles or around 6
Dean Karnazes. Dean Karnazes. I just found it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But no, I mean, dude, the thing with endurance sports, I've always said it, like, endurance sports, coming from both, like now that I'm like doing more like the aesthetic type lifting with the bodybuilding compared to like what I was doing before with endurance training. Endurance training is by far, you have to have the highest like mental toughness, because you're literally just sitting there in pain for hours on end. You know what I mean? And it's not like, if you've never competed in an endurance sport, like that will teach you mental toughness. And then like when you go in and like lift weights, because like, let's face it, like lifting weights is nothing compared to like endurance training. Like, you're having a few, like maybe, well, how long does a set last? Maybe 30 seconds to a minute at fucking most, not even that. That's nothing compared to running for fucking an hour plus or even longer. And relying on your cardiovascular ability to like maintain the exercise versus like relying on your anaerobic exercise ability with the lifting of the weights.
So, absolutely.
Yeah. Aerobic conditioning is, cross-country skiers, rowers, runners. Like these guys are just like, they take it to another level of, pain tolerance.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like when I did the 50-miler at mile 30, I was just ready to give up. I was like, just ridiculous amount of pain. and I still had 20 miles to go, and that's still like a good 3 hours of running. I already been running for 5 hours. And you just take it mile by mile, and just like what I basically had told myself, I was like, okay, you just have to get to mile 40, because once you hit mile 40, there's no way you're gonna quit after mile 40 when you're only have 10 miles to go.
Yeah.
And so I just pushed myself. I just basically pushed myself to mile 40, and then just, the last 10 miles is still another 2 hours.
That second wind, man, is real. Like people think like, oh, it's bullshit. Like, no, man, the second wind is real. Like, being able, that's why we always, so when in rowing, they teach you something called negative splitting, which I think runners do this too, which is basically, you start out easy, then you hit pace, and then like the last, like on a 2,000 meter race, that last 250, 500 to 250, you're fucking sprinting, man.
Yeah.
And it's always easy to empty out the tank at the end, but yeah, it's a very it's a different mindset. But I was able to, fortunately, like I took that like mindset and I just applied it to like other endeavors in life, because like I've always said to myself, well, at least it's not a 2K like that. That shit sucks. Like, exactly. So. But that's what I've always thought about it. Even with like dating now, like, oh, she flaked. All right, well, it's not as bad as a fucking 2K. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, you got to have those points, those mental points of reference. It really does develop mental toughness, right? Going through that.
Yeah, like you.
Then everything is so small compared to that shit, right? It's like
and to bring it back to girls, like I've always said it, like the reason why I feel like every guy needs to train and exercise is because if you train and you exercise, that's going to build the confidence for you to not tolerate bullshit from women. I mean, I guess I don't know if we want to transition to women now. Did you want to?
Yeah, no, let's go for it.
Okay.
By the way, shout out to Brandon Carter is in there.
He's in here.
He just said squad here. I just put it up.
Hey, what's up, Brandon? Brandon's my coach, guys. He coached me to build my fitness business, man. Anybody that's trying to build an online fitness business, go to Brandon. He's the fucking best in the industry at it. Straight up. Like, I'm just gonna say that. It's my man's right there. Every time he comes to Miami, we hang out. But what was I gonna say? So yeah, basically, so transitioning it to the ladies, like I think every guy should get in shape, and it's not because like, oh, I'm going to impress girls, because me and John from Modern Life Dating, shout out to John from Modern Life Dating, that's my fucking man as well. We talk about this all the time. There's a bunch of guys that are like gym cells, like they just train and they don't get girls because they're like totally they're like socially inept. And the thing is that it's not that, the body is a great tool to get the women, but it's the mindset that comes from it. Like that basically, like, to me, I look at it like, yo, I've busted my ass in the gym. I've dieted down because I've been fat before, and I've been lean, and I've been skinny. So like, when you put yourself through like all this suffering and pain, you're just not going to sit there and tolerate some BS from like some 19-year-old chick that hasn't accomplished anything, quite frankly.
Exactly.
You're just like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like, no. and then it's gonna, and then the beauty, the thing is that it's crazy because like I was talking about this on I think either shout out to Lucario and Donovan Sharp as well. I think I was talking about this on one of their streams. Like, guys we're trained, right, as men, that like for you to be successful, you have to invest your time into something and keep trying, keep pushing. And that's very true. The more consistent you are, the more deliberate you are in your activities, you are going to be successful. However, this doesn't apply to girls, unfortunately. The more you invest in women, 9 out of 10 times, you're probably going to take an L, because overinvestment is low value behavior. Because basically what you're signifying to her is, you're my only option. I value this relationship more than you do. And if I lose you, it's going to fuck me up. And unfortunately, women are repulsed by that shit. Like, people think like the Disney, like, oh, Aladdin, like it's a whole new world. Or like, like a poor dude riding a magic carpet is going to get a princess. Like, nah, bro, she would have fucked you far if this shit was the real deal. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like, I think like one of the things that guys got to understand is that you're not building the body to get the girls. You're building the body to walk away from the wrong girls that don't fucking treat you right. Because at the end of the day, guys, there's a lot of hot girls. I live in Miami. There's beautiful women everywhere. But I'll tell you this, there's very few fucking guys like John that are fucking millionaires. You know what I mean? Not to big you up, but like multimillionaires that have their shit together, that's in shape and everything else. There's hot girls everywhere, but there's not many high value guys. So at the end of the day, the men are the true prize guys. It's just that we live in a society that's like, like we're like all fempowerment and all this other stuff, which is cool. I'm all for women entering the workforce and having equal opportunities. But to sit there and say that men and women are equal is like, that's a fucking lie. Like, we're completely different, and we're better together than we are apart. But to say we're equal is just like, no, doesn't work that way. If you look at sexual intersexual dynamics between the two genders, it's very clear we're not equal.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. And I think that's, definitely like, the gym style thing is for real, right? Because you have to have more than just the body, right? You have to have the social confidence. You actually have the like, game is important. Like, so many guys today are trying to write off game and say, oh, it doesn't work anymore.
Like these black pill dorks that talk shit about you, right?
Yeah. I'm like, man, it makes such a fucking difference. And I understand like their perspective. Like, I wouldn't, had I not actually seen it in action, right? Had I not actually worked with guys, and like, I don't make a whole business out of like coaching pickup because I'm focused on other things. But I take guys out to Vegas every once in a while and coach them there. And man, like, the difference is just ridiculous. It's like night and day. Like, when someone learns some game and is able to have success, and a lot of times it's guys that are not fucking jacked and are not what you would really call very Chad like or Chad light at all.
Yeah.
So, and that's where it makes a difference. So,
and it's funny too, because like, I always say it, like, you need all three, right? You need to have your money right in today's sexual marketplace, right? The unfortunate reality for a lot of you guys, I'm just gonna say it, girls have way more options than you think. I've dated several girls here in Miami. If you look at a girl's Instagram inbox, blue fucking check marks all day if she's hot enough. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I think a lot of guys are like completely unaware as to like how many options women have, and they wonder, oh my God, why are girls so hard to deal with? Why do they flake all this shit? The reason why they flake, guys, is because they have higher value guys than you hitting you up all the time. And me and John say this all the time for Modern Life Dating when we coach our students. It is no longer enough to make $50,000 a year and have a cool insurance policy and drive a Kia Sophia. Like, that doesn't work anymore. Like, you have to have a lot more going for you as a guy to be able to get the sex life that you want, to get that top 5% type sex life where you're basically like dating multiple girls, you have options, etc. You have to be a top tier guy. You know what I mean? You got to be like a John from Bulldog Mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like a 6'3", it's really tall, got a lot of fucking money, successful, etc. I do some dabbling on the side, but the point is, you got to be a high value guy. All jokes aside, you got to be a top 20% guy. And the studies actually show. I was actually just researching this yesterday. So there was a study that came out in 2019. It was done in 2018, but the results came out in 2019. And what they found, that was about a quarter of Americans reported being celibate. But the staggering majority of that, and shout out to Rollo Tomasi, he talked about this, and I actually looked at the study. A staggering majority of those men were, of that group were young men in their 20s. Right.
Exactly.
And we know that because at the end of the day, the things that make a guy attractive take time to accumulate: money, confidence, status, etc. So like, but the rates of celibacy were pretty much the same with women. Why is that? Well, because women have all the options when it comes to who they select, and if anything, their options have gone up because Instagram, social media. A girl that lived in the middle of fucking nowhere in Colorado now has access to a guy in LA that says, hey, you want to come out for a weekend and hang out? I got the money. I'll fly you out. And that's just how it is. I used to date a girl that used to go see Future in LA when he was living out there, like every other weekend shit. I was like, oh, well, okay. So, and this was after, but like, it's not uncommon. So I think guys really got to understand, like, you got to get your shit on point, because that's how you're going to compete with these other high value guys.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too, like, I think a lot of guys get really disturbed by kind of what you said there, especially about having to have money, the competition that they have. But even a lot of these guys, right? I see some of these guys that are celebrities, or what the world might consider a really high value guy, but they don't have any game at all, and they just get used. They get used.
They're fucking simps, dude.
Yeah, and people actually, like, women will go out and fly out there to go see them, or like, they'll take the money, but then they'll be texting some broke ass dude.
Yeah. No, dude. So,
and that's who they'll really be hooking up with, so just to say, like, I mean, value is like being a high value guy. When we're talking about this, it's not just like, I mean, it's hard to be, I guess what I say is it's hard to be a high value guy and not be successful in multiple areas of your life, right? Because you're not going to have the confidence, right? You're not going to actually be the guy. Like if you're putting in the work today, it's not that hard because there's not much competition, right? Guys are fucking pushing.
Sure.
I mean, look at what's going on
Facts.
today in the world. Look at all the bullshit, right? So many, every single fucking guy is like a pussy. Like how many, look at all the shit that's going on with the riots and the bullshit, like taking over blocks of Seattle. Like, what the fuck? Where are the men? Like, if I lived in fucking Seattle, I'd be out there with a fucking gun. Like,
people are soft, man. Like, people, I blame Drake. Like, Drake is like, he's a big problem here, man. This dude has people out, he's, crying about girls in his songs and shit. And like, the thing is that guys listen to this shit and think, this is how you get girls, Nah, bro. He's getting girls because he has status and he's a singer. And like, his beta-ness is overwritten by his social status. And like, you can't emulate that and expect to get girls. It's like the Disney stories, all this shit. Like, these R&B singers, like, let's get married. Like, bro, no. You know what I mean? That shit's all brainwashing you, man. And like the other thing that you made a good point, man, because like I've met a couple of these fucking like, how do I say this? Instagram influencers and shit like that, man. And you're 100% right, dude. A lot of them have zero game. I always say, like, if you have a hole, let's say you don't got money, right? Well, you're going to lose a good portion of women that otherwise aren't going to fuck with you unless you have your finances sorted, right? Because there's girls that make $100,000 a year that they're just not going to see you. They're just not going to fuck with you because you're not on their level. Because we all know girls don't date down, right? Then if you don't have your, let's say if you don't have your physique on point, then a lot of girls are going to be repulsed by you. Or they might, if they do fuck with you, they're not going to give you that true sex. They're going to give you that bullshit transaction, like, starfish, right? Oh, and then if you don't have, you know what I'm saying? And then if you have game, but you don't have the other two, well, you might be able to get some girls here and there, but you're going to be limited in your ability to retain them. So like you need all three in reality. And game is important because game protects you from getting fleeced. So like guys that have money, you like for the doctors in here that are tuning in, the entrepreneurs, the guys, if you're making $100,000 plus a year in the United States, you need to fucking learn game, because I'll tell you this, girls nowadays are absolutely skilled on going on dates and fleecing you financially, whether it's for money, gifts, fucking dinner dates, whatever it may be. And I know this because more and more girls, I mean, shout out to John again. We released a course called Pandemic Pickup last month, where we taught guys how to use all the dating apps. And one of the things we taught guys was actually how to use seeking arrangement properly, to meet, not be a fucking simp and pay these girls for attention like a dork. Rather, you're using it to meet higher value chicks that are more attractive. Because the thing is, a lot of girls go on seeking because they want to meet a guy that has their shit together. They're tired of dating broke boys on fucking Tinder that say some stupid shit like, hey, you want to Venmo me $32.61 so we can split this fucking bill, like shit like that. So they don't want to deal with these guys, because I don't care what anybody says, no matter what feminism tries to say or whatever. Like when that fucking check comes, dude, the girl's vagina dries up if she's got to pull out her fucking wallet. I don't care what anybody says, bro. Like, she can make $200,000 a year. If you're dumbass, like, we want to split this? Nah, bro. It doesn't, like, that's unattractive. So
it's not like a TradCon thing either. It's not like fucking like, because a lot of guys give me shit. They're like, oh, well, you're being a simp if you're paying for. No,
not true at all.
Like, you should be the kind of man that it's like, I don't even like. Okay, so there's a bill. Like, obviously, I'm going to pay for it because it's not even fucking anything. Like, who the fuck cares, right? Now, it's different if you're at a bar and some girl's like trying to get you to buy her.
Yeah. That's
like because she's testing you there. But if you're already like, then it's just like you just have to treat it like it's nothing. Like, like, because that's how someone who is high value would act. They're not going to act in such a way that they're going to be like, oh, well, I have to get like your portion of the bill. They're just going to do whatever, just, oh, there's a bill, I'm just going to fucking pay it. Not a big deal. Right.
Yeah. And we teach our students, like I actually taught the guys, like, especially if they're on a date, because like girls on seeking are hotter, right? And they expect like a certain caliber of guy. Like I tell them, like, listen, like, you don't overtly flex your money. What you do is you do it subtly, because women, I would say girls' spidey senses go up when certain things happen. So when the check comes, their spidey senses come up and they're watching how you react. So what you do is we tell our students, a little freebie, you just fucking, you don't even look at the bill. You just put your fucking card on there. If you got an Amex Platinum or like a cool, like the Apple card, even though it's fucking trash for a cashback, if you have that thing, like a metal card, throw that bitch in there, hand it back to them, don't even look. And that's going to be a huge demonstration of higher value, because you're basically telling her, it doesn't fucking matter. And for the clowns out there that say, oh, paid is simping. Dude, if a girl goes out on a date with you, right, and you've screened her properly and she actually genuinely likes you, you should pay. And the reason why you pay, not because you're a simp, but because the person that pays controls the frame of the date. Like that's what guys got to understand, is that women are they're attracted to leaders. So when you pay, you lead her on the date, you walk in front of her, you don't let her walk in front of you. You know what I mean? And you basically control the date, where she just has to dress pretty and not have to do anything. Then it's just a logical conclusion that you would pay for it. And then she's just, everything else is like, I always say, like, a date and dealing with women in general is like a compliance ladder, right? So like if she, and Mystery talked about this a lot. I think everyone that, wants to figure out like how to deal with women, you should read the Mystery Method, even though a lot of this stuff is dated. But
yeah, it's still,
it's still relevant, because like he talks about attraction triggers and compliance, which is that's all it is with women. And the problem that a lot of guys make is that they don't understand, like when a girl doesn't comply, they keep bashing their fucking head against the wall, trying to make her comply, and or like trying to like win her over, which is like me personally, I tell our guys like, yo, if a girl doesn't comply, fucking goodbye. Like, kick her to the curb and move on to a girl that is going to comply, because you sitting there and trying to build attraction. I mean, if she's showing like good signs that she's shit testing you, that's one thing. But like her just like overtly like not complying with you, or downright, or even possibly being disrespectful, like kick her to the curb, man. And if anything, I've noticed when you walk away from girls, it makes you more attractive, because like that you're basically telling her without saying a word that I'm not gonna fucking tolerate this shit. Which is why it's so important to go to the gym, because then you're not gonna fucking tolerate BS from girls. But to bring it back to the dates, why you got to pay, you pay so that you can convey status, convey authority, convey leadership, and whoever pays is basically controlling the frame of the date. And that's the most important thing. We all know, if you follow a woman's leadership within the, if you follow a woman's lead in a relationship romantically, you're going to take an L every time. So you have to control as many variables as you can for the guys in here listening. So it's not beta to pay, man. Don't listen to these fucking PUAs. The reason why a lot of PUAs say that shit is because a lot of them are fucking broke, and they're just like, they're using, scammy canned material bullshit. And it's like, no, man, like, it's 2020. You really do have to be high value. And here's the thing. You look at a lot of these PUAs, even though I like Mystery's book, fucking Neil Strauss, whatever. See these guys on talk shows, like fucking, they're pussies now. They're soft. And the thing is because exactly. And like the thing is, guys, is like, you can't fake being alpha. You have to, if you're an alpha male, you got to be an alpha male 24/7. You got to be congruent with that at all times, because girls are constantly going to fucking test your frame, and you need to be, and if you are not who you say you are, your purported persona, she's going to find that shit out immediately. And I think another thing guys don't understand is that women are like socially superior to men when it comes to social calibration. So like, there are behaviors that like low value guys that aren't getting action from women display, that they don't even know that they're displaying, but women pick up on immediately. So like a big one that I tell my guys when we're like doing night game or whatever it may be, is when you meet a girl, don't ever fucking lean into her. You basically walk like she's here in front of you here. You walk as if you're going somewhere else. You nod your head. You show your you show your head like to tilt your head to the side, and you introduce yourself. My opener is like, hey, you're almost as cute as me. What's your name? Ha ha ha. And I'll smile. And if she doesn't like reciprocate and smile back, or like lean into like hear what I said, because if it's a loud club or whatever, then I know she's probably not interested. I just keep walking. And like then if she turns to me, then I'll reward that, and then I'll turn to her a little bit, and then I'll talk. But like, I think a big mistake guys make is they lean in and they get way too invested in the interaction from the rip. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, this is low value behavior. But a lot of guys don't even notice that. So I guess that's like one of the big things. Like when I'm out with my friends night game, I'm like, don't fucking lean in. I just scream at them like, don't do that shit. Like, let her, if she likes you, she's going to lean into you, and then boom, you reciprocate.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. I want to address,
especially us tall guys, man.
Yeah. I want to address this guy. He so we've got a guy in the, because I think this is important, because he's basically saying, oh, paying every time is beta, and
wrong.
50-50. And here's what I would say. Like, I think
wrong.
Because Ross said pay if you want. And that's what I think, that's like what I've basically come up with, is it's more of, but here's the thing, like, you want to pay because you want to control the interaction, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay. So I'm not saying like that I haven't ever gone out with the girl and been like, oh, and be like, oh, you're buying me dinner, right? Like, and make a joke out of it, and then actually make her pull out her fucking card and sure, and that works as a frame, but in general, that frame is not a good one. Like, unless you're specifically doing it, because no matter how much fucking game you have, being like a guy that like makes it 50-50 where she pays half the time, it's still gonna look fucking beta that a check at a dinner would even matter to you at all, right? Like that's the problem that I have with it, right? Like if you're like in college and then you can, and you're dating some college girl, and then you like split the check 50-50 because you're not like, I could see it in that context. But if you're like a guy in his 30s and like a dinner bill at any fucking restaurant would make you even blink twice, then I don't know, like you're just sending like a shitty message. Like if
after 11:25, bro, like I'm just gonna have to respectfully disagree and tell you're fucking full of shit. Because here's the problem, bro.
Yeah,
you pay, if you pay. But before you even go on a date with the girl, you should have screened her. Like you should have this is how I know that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. Because like before you even go on a date with her, like she should have qualified to you and shown that she's worth the fucking date, bro. That's how I know you get no fucking girls, man. Because by the time she shows up on a date, she's already like she's excited to fucking meet you if you do it right and you demonstrated higher value correctly. And then all you're doing, because here's the thing, if you do it right, she should be imagining things about you and already have an assumption about you before she meets you. So what you need to do is you need to continue to convey that high value through your fucking actions. You're over here on some bullshit saying, oh, you paid every time. You're probably going out with girls that you don't even really like because you're trying to get laid and you're just trying to save a buck. You shouldn't even be going out with, you should be turning girls down. You should only be going out with girls that you like, bro. Like, that's how I know. And here's the other thing. If it's like a girl that you're like dealing with, like she's like a girlfriend or a plate or whatever it may be, like number one, you shouldn't even be taking her on super expensive dates unless like she's earned that. And then on top of that, you pay all the time because you're the fucking man, bro. Like it's not to pay for her expressed pleasure. It's to assert dominance and that you control the frame. Because once you let her control any portion of the interaction and you give her an option to like fuck things up, she probably will. You know what I'm saying? The burner performance is on men for a fucking reason, bro. Like, I don't want to like insult him on stream, but like, bro, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, again, like I said, it comes down to, I think his mind is in the right place. Like what he's trying to convey is like the idea of not being a simp and just, but here's the other thing about it is what I would say is like, because the qualification, I think that was a good point, because it's like, well, if you don't want to, like, you don't. So
you just answered it. He said, I'm not looking for high value females right now. So you just answered it yourself, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're going out with like chicks that aren't hot and stuff and you're just like trying to get numbers, cool. That's fine. Well, but like me and John are talking a different level. We're talking about like dealing with girls that you actually like, that are attractive, etc. You know,
and don't even take them out to a restaurant. Like at the restaurant level of taking them to a restaurant, they should have already qualified at a high degree, right? So what
For
I mean
sure.
is, like, your first interaction should be, let's go out for a drink. Like, meet me at this bar, right?
Yes.
Because that's like, okay. And at that point, I'm okay with not picking up the tab on the drink, depending on how things go, right? Like that's where it's like, if she's compliant, she's it's good, then maybe you pick up the tab, or maybe you don't pick up the tab, right? But if you're already at the taking someone out to a dinner, like, it's so stupid. Like think of it this way, right, Myron? If I invite you out for a fucking dinner, right? Yeah. And then I'm like, hey, let's split the tab. What kind of a fucking, like, as a business guy, you think like fucking cheap ass bastard, right? Like, dude, if I invite you out somewhere, I'm fucking paying for the food, right? Well, that's just like,
before we even came on stream, I told you, hey, when you come to Miami, we're gonna go to Nusret's steakhouse. I'm buying, right? Like that's just how it is. And APR, not to like, it's like, let's go back a step. Like, the first date needs to be a low investment from you. You need to screen her out, right? Obviously, we're not we're not saying, because I think he's assuming that we're talking like, take her out on a dinner date, first date. Like, hell no, you never do that. She's got to earn that. But once she earns that, right? Like, she's displayed behaviors that are conducive to like, success. Like, she comes to your place, she cleans up, she cooks, she helps you out with stuff. Like, she's operating in a feminine manner. She's dressing up for you, like all these little things that you'll pick up on. then she's earned that, and then you pay. But like, you know, but he even admitted like, oh, I'm not looking for high value chicks right now. So he's just trying to get his notch count up. That's fine, man. That's cool. Like, you know, if you want to do that, but you're like, when you do that, you're gonna deal with like lower value chicks. Like, I'll keep it real with you. I'm like APR. When you deal with like 8s, 9s, and 10s, they expect a certain level of man. You understand? Like, you can't be like a cheapskate or like low value with chicks like that, because they're not used to that. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have, like I said, this is why it's so important to be an apex male, because when you're dealing with the most attractive women, you know, and I've dated a few of them here in Miami, they're looking for the full package. You know, I always say Christian Grey is the embodiment of what you want to be. You want to be a guy who has his money together, an assertive, dominant male, dress well, and attractive with, you know, with a good body. Like, that is what, there's a reason why 50 Shades of Grey is like the most popular book among women, because it touches all those attraction triggers that women look for, and to include financial security. So when you're dealing with high value women, you have to pay, because that's how you control the frame and you assert dominance, man. But if you're like just trying to get your notch count up with like lower value chicks, cool, go for it. But we're talking about a different caliber here, man.
Yeah. It's just because there's no way, like, I think what it comes down to, like, in my mind, is congruency, right? That's what it always comes down to. And like, if you're a guy that is successful, right, and has a lot of money, then it's really going to be difficult for you to come up with a reason why you're not going to pay for a dinner that you invited someone out for. I mean, like maybe you could come up with an excuse. Maybe she mouths off during the dinner, or she says something that insults you, and you're like, you know what, fuck you, bitch. Like, you pay now. You insulted me. You pay for the dinner.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe you can come up with something out of your ass, but in general, like, it's going to be incongruent. Now, in this situation, like you said, if you are literally broke and you are just trying to get your notch count out, and you're not, you know, dating high value girls, then it's more congruent with you being like a sleazebag asshole. But asshole does not get the high value. Like, it's just, you're not going to be pulling the Instagram models being a sleazebag asshole. Like, maybe at the club, like, you could pull that shit off, but because, you know, but what, it's going to be so incongruent. That's the thing. It's like everything has to line up, right? There's no way to pretend like you're this high value guy when you care about a fucking bill from a I mean, fuck, even to some degree, when you care about a plane ticket cost, right? Now, but so many guys will simp, like, doing this shit, like buying dinners, buying, you know, gifts, buying plane tickets and shit, because they're being congruent with their behavior of being a simp, of being someone who is and trying to win approval. So it has to be congruent with what you're portraying, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's what the key is. It's like, one guy, you know, he could be buying dinner for a girl, and he can be totally looking like a total nice guy, you know, simp, just, you know, expecting to get some sex because he just bought this dinner and he owes him something. Whereas another guy could just be like, hey, I'm just like you said, just throwing your card down because it doesn't fucking matter, right? Because who cares? Like, this is just what I do. This is nothing. This is like getting a coffee, right? Like, when that's the attitude, it's conveying a totally different message. And I think that's what the key is. It's not about whether you should pay or not.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, and by the time you're like, if you're taking a chick on a nice dinner, she should have already like qualified to you prior to that. So that's like that. You know, I mean, I guess we can go into remedial, but you should have screened her way more than that. And then another guy mentioned in here, like, oh, changing yourself for a girl is beta. It's not about changing yourself, man. What we're saying here is that you need to have your shit together as a man, because you're going to benefit regardless. You get your body in shape, you get your money on point, and then you learn game so that you don't get fleeced, right? Because the modern day woman is very good at fleecing men, and then that will protect you. And then basically, you know, the byproduct of your success is being able to attract more women if you choose to. I'm not saying you have to. I know a lot of guys like to leave the dating marketplace altogether. That's fine, but that's not an excuse to be fat, to not have become successful, not to push yourself in other endeavors. Like, if you want to, you know, use that to get women, that's great. But like, you know, to not be successful and work on yourself, that's just a disservice to yourself. You know what I mean? You getting girls should be a byproduct of it.
Well, and it's all connected, right? Like, I just got a message from a guy just the other day, and I was laughing at this because he's like, John, I need your help, but you know, you're telling me how to get a hot girl, but here's my problem, here's my requirements, and he listed off like 8 requirements that the girl has to be this age. She has to not have had sex with more than 3 guys. He listed all these things. She has to not be overweight by more than 10 pounds. And he listed this whole list. And my answer was, sure, I can help you. I was like, first question I have to ask you, how high of a value of a man are you?
Yeah.
Because if you're asking for all those things, it's fine to ask for all those things, but you better be fucking like top tier in order to have those kind of requirements. And that's
can't be one of these like delusional women out here that's like overweight saying, I want a 6'3" Chad. Like I want a Christian Grey, you know, like every girl's read that book and thinks they're entitled to one. And it's like, no, man, that's like, I don't think girls like understand that, like, you know, guys that are over 6 feet tall are a very small portion of the population.
Well, they have a misconception about guys in general, right? Because I talk to girls about this all the time because I do some of my coaching cross pollinates into the female.
Okay.
And girls all the time when I tell them about incels and guys and the struggle and the 80-20,
they have no clue
how Paretos Law works for guys, and you know, basically, you know, that 10% of the guys get 90% of the girls. They have no clue, because here's their perception in life, right? If you're a good looking girl, guys are always coming up to me and talking to me. I don't understand what you're talking about, guys being shy and having social anxiety and being afraid of being rejected. I'm being bothered all the time. Guys must all the time be, but she's seeing the top 10% of guys that aren't afraid to approach, and she's thinking that that's 90%. She's applying it to the general, and with all the things that happen as far as guys. So it's interesting. Like, you know, you've actually got to be like, you don't have as much competition as guys as women think that you have, but you have to be a top tier guy.
So I want to add to that. Like every time I go on dates, man, on girls, I love to actually ask that question, just to like get an idea. And it is amazing how unaware like most women are as to like the struggles of men in the dating marketplace. Like they think, oh, it's easy. Like you're just a guy. Like you just go up and talk to girls, whatever. And like they don't understand what it's like to date women. Even girls that are like lesbian have no fucking clue. Because like what they don't understand is that, and actually, you know what? Alexander Grace actually made a pretty good video on this when he basically took a girl and made her have his Tinder profile, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna do so well, and like she made a profile and she like had like she felt like shit after. It's like depressed, like, oh my god. And it's like I messaged the girl and she didn't respond. Like, yeah, welcome to fucking like guy life. Even if you're like a Chad, like you're still gonna have a low response rate, which is why like we teach our guys all the time, get comfortable like just kicking girls to the curb that aren't cooperating, man. Because when you waste your time and you invest, it's going to do is it's going to lead to like a downward spiral of you investing more time, getting more committed, wanting to chase a response. And it's like, you got to look at our actions. Like girls are never going to tell you, oh, I'm not interested, or be candid with you, because quite frankly, girls have been like, if you talk to any cute girl, like they'll say, oh, they'll give you a number and then they don't respond when you text them. And the reason why they did that isn't because like they actually like you. They just wanted you to leave. And they've been assaulted probably before or yelled at or whatever for like not giving a number. So they're like, all right, the safer thing to do is just give the number so this guy will leave. And then they'll just like use iMessage and block you. And that's just how it is. Like, oh, I can't take this. And it's like, you got to get comfortable getting rejected. And actually they did a study on Tinder on this, and they found that like, it's the Pareto principle pretty much. Like I think 80+% of the girls found like, the girls found 80+% of the guys is like super unattractive. Same thing on OkCupid. And it's like, it's hilarious how like a lot of girls like don't understand. And like when you say some shit like, oh, I coach guys to like get in shape or be more confident, like, what are you talking about? You guys need help with that? And it's like, you have no fucking clue.
Actually, here, I'll bring that up. This is funny. I was just talking about this the other day, but this is some crazy shit. Like guys, if you haven't seen this before, let me see here. All right. Yeah. So just take a look at this chart here. Okay. How men rate women.
We're like a perfect bell curve. Guys are pretty accurate, but women, it's like not at all.
Yeah. So it's bell curve here, and here it's Paretos Law, right?
Yeah.
It's basically like, the 20% of guys are, attractive to 80% of the girls, right? It's like, so that's what you're dealing with. But this is always like, but a lot of guys like try to complain and say, oh, this is like new. It's always been like this.
It's just more pronounced now. Like the thing is that women since the beginning of time have always selected only the top guys. That's just the way it is. Like because you go back to like ancient times, right? When Genghis Khan was running around Asia killing everybody and shit. Like when he would conquer a new village, right? Like the women had to quickly figure out, okay, I either die or I join these guys and I get impregnated by this dude, and more importantly, I'm able to protect myself and my future children. When women had to learn very quickly on that they need to align themselves with the strongest males, because it's only been in recent time that like women have been able to like kind of live on their own without like a male provisioning and protecting them. You know, in modern times now, like with civilized world, we can do that. But before, like a woman needed that protection from a man. So women are still hardwired to look for that. And unfortunately, only a small percentage of males have all these characteristics. And if you lack in one, then you're not going to get the woman's best. So like if you have the money, right? Like these fucking simps on Seeking, like these sugar daddies, like you might get sex, but you're going to get that fucking starfish bullshit, right? So, so it's always important to have the trifecta, but like, yeah, dude, it's very, like, it's just more pronounced now. I would say it's always been like that. And then like with social media and with like online dating, this is why I say like, it's more pronounced now. And like guys have to have their shit together because girls have more options now than ever before, you know, with social media. And like now I actually looked at a study, I think it was a 2019 or 2020 study in the United States. Over 56% of Instagram users are female. So, and then women get 5 times as many likes as men. And guys are probably wondering, why is that relevant? Well, it's relevant because more girls are on Instagram. Therefore, they have more options to meet men on the internet. And then on top of that, they're getting 5 times as much validation as you are, bro. So that speaks to why, women are super choosy on who they deal with and why they're truly, really, especially now with like the globalized marketplace, sexual marketplace, why they're dealing with like only the top tier guys.
Well, it comes down to, I think so in one respect, right, it's harder to be a guy, right, because women have more options, but also in another respect, it's easier because they have less options, right? So they have more guys that are interested in them, but less guys that are of quality, right? Because we have so many guys today that are soy boy type of feminists, like allies and all this bullshit, right? And these guys have no game and they have no balls and they can't stand up for themselves. And so they're just simping, like you said, and
so they believe in bullshit like a 50-50 relationship. That's like one of the biggest lies. Exactly. It's sold in the West as like a 50-50 relationship, and that just doesn't work because you look at any business, even the United States, we have one president, we have one leader. There needs to be one distinguished leader in any type of relationship or any type of corporation for anything to work. 50-50 doesn't fucking work. Like it's just hilarious. But sorry, John, you were saying something?
Oh yeah, no, I was just saying, like, I mean, if you've seen, I need to talk to what's his name? Is it it's Andrew Tate, right? Like
Tate, yeah.
Like that dude, like, okay, at first when I first saw him, I was like, I don't know if this guy's for real. But then I'm hearing him, I'm like, no, this guy's for real. This is why he's having a lot of success, because he's just like not accepting of any bullshit. He just like saying whatever the fuck that he wants. And there's very few guys of that level that will basically, actually, I'll agree with APR 1125 here when he's saying that basically, women are attracted to guys that don't put up with any kind of bullshit at all, right? And that's the thing. It's like many guys are afraid of the risk, but so it's actually better in many ways to be a guy when everyone else, so many guys are pussies, right?
Like Tate, he exemplifies like a lot of like uncomfortable truths that a lot of guys don't want to accept. Shout out to Nick Pin. Thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. But like he exemplifies like a lot of the truths that like, the politically correct want to say, like, that, 50-50 relationship, or like a woman can lead a man in a relationship and all this other shit. And I've always said it, like, I don't care what anybody says, women are fundamentally incapable of leading men within the confinements of a romantic relationship. It doesn't fucking work. They're not wired for it. Yeah, they'll try. Like, but here's the thing, like,
not stepping up, they'll try.
And here's the thing: people can say whatever they want, like, "Oh, you're a fucking misogynist or you're a sexist." No, the data backs it. If you look at all the countries that adhere to like the narrative that like we can have a female run household, what happens? You got like a 60+ percentage divorce rate. The kids, single mother households are on the rise. Like it just doesn't work. Like, you know, it just doesn't. Like, the families work. And I come from a 2-parent household, and I saw that, like, you know, I was raised in a stable household. I come from a Muslim background. My parents are from the Middle East and Sudan, and they always stayed together. And the reason why it worked was because my mom respected my dad. My dad made the decisions. My mom still had an input, and she still had her say. But at the end of the day, my dad made the final decisions. And you know, and he was a disciplinarian. I always say, like, a father keeps sons out of jail and daughters off for stripper poles. And you need the father, despite what people want to say in society, like, no, women can do it all. No, they fucking can't, bro. They can't. Just like a father can't do it all. Like, a mom cannot teach a son how to be a man. And that is why we have so many soy boys today and soft guys, as Jordan Peterson would say, like the Lost Boy generation, is because we don't have strong masculine fathers in the household. These guys are like learning from their moms, and quite frankly, the mom can't do both jobs. And you look at single mother households, the numbers back up my claims. Like violent felons, criminals, drug addicts, homeless people, degenerates in general. A huge percentage of them come from single parent households. You know what I'm saying? Now, am I saying that if you come from a single parent household, you're not going to be successful? No. I know a bunch of guys that are multimillionaires and super successful that come from single parent households. But what I will say is your chances of failure significantly increase.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And you know, again, like, you can overcome the adversity, but that's the biggest struggle I think that most men have today is what does it mean to be a man? Like, learning, they don't have an example. Even a lot of guys that have fathers in the home, they still don't get taught these things because
True.
you know, their fathers were, you know, are you know, basically one of those people who say, oh, you know, happy wife, happy life, and just,
another huge fucking scam.
Which is totally, you know, total bullshit, right? You have to be, you know, you have to be treated like a king if you're a man. Otherwise,
yeah, a woman is happiest.
Happy. Yeah.
I've always said it. A woman is happiest when she's with a man that she loves and respects, and she can defer to his authority and not have to care about anything else. Because the thing is like, the reason why, you know, we were talking about frame earlier, you know, with the dates and everything like that. That speaks to a more important topic. The reason you pay for the dates is to control the frame. And on top of that, if you do build something with this woman, the way you enter the relationship is probably how it's going to end. So if you enter the relationship on some like beta shit where you're letting her lead, she's paying, whatever it may be, then she's just going to see you in a certain light, and she's not going to respect you the same as if you have your fucking life together and you can pay for things. And then she's automatically like, okay, this guy has his shit together. I don't have to mommy him. I don't have to baby him. I want to be a part of his world. And when she comes into your world because you have your life together and you're a stable fucking rock, because women are emotional, you know, they change from day to day. So you being that stable rock of like consistent success, consistent masculinity, she's going to love and adore you for that. And she's going to be able to defer to your authority and your leadership. And then she's going to be happiest in that. I've always noticed it. Like when I'll date girls, they just got out of a relationship or whatever. And just out of curiosity, because I love collecting information, right? I always ask them, so like, you know, what happened? You know what I mean? And 9 out of 10 times he didn't have it. You know, he fucking, you know, he just couldn't get a job, or he's a bum, or I had to drive him around, or whatever it may be. But like, or she would be like nicer about it. She wouldn't say it like that, obviously, but I can connect the dots. Like, this guy didn't have his shit together, whatever it may be. And I've always said it, like, a millionaire can date a hot 18-year-old, but a millionaire male, but a millionaire female ain't gonna fucking look at a fucking broke guy, because at the end of the day, for a woman, you know, a woman doesn't, you know, like shout out to Patrice O'Neal. He said this shit. You know, a woman can't marry a queen, can't marry a dude and turn him into a king, but a king can marry a fucking girl and turn her into a queen. That's just the way it is. You know, there's got to be a leader, and if you're not leading, I've always said, that's why I think the divorce rate is so high in westernized countries where like feminism is super strong. It's not that, it's like, because excuse me, when you're not the leader as the male, she's inevitably going to lose attraction for you and want to leave, because it's just a sign of weakness. That's why I think the divorce rate is so high, because guys like defer to their wife to make the decisions, to wear the pants, even in some cases to be the fucking breadwinner. Like, oh, I've seen stay-at-home dads and shit. Okay, bro, let's see how long that fucking marriage lasts. You know what I mean? You want to, you know, and if it does, it's probably a small percentage. On a balance of probability, it's probably going to fail.
Well, and it'll be one of convenience, right? It won't be one of actual real attraction, right? That's the thing. like
and their sex life probably sucks. Like she probably doesn't like take it. Like she probably doesn't even like suck his dick and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's talk about how marriages that do stay together, how, the high rate of sexless marriages, right? And sex, whether people want to say it or not, it is an indication of genuine desire.
Exactly. No, it's 100%. Yeah. And you can't fake it, and you can't manufacture it. Right. It has
100%. Yeah.
has to be real. So that's why it's so important. And that's why, like, I agree with what you said about like how you begin the relationship. That's why so many guys, like, they come into a relationship without that dominant frame, and then it's impossible to turn around. They can't turn around. You have to come in basically setting your rules and having your standards. And then if she doesn't meet it, you have to be willing to walk. Otherwise you have no negotiating power later on. Right. So
100%. And the only way you're going to be able to come in, and this is why it's so important, like, you guys got to like subscribe to guys like John and stuff, like channels like this to help you self-improve, because guys, I hate to say it, the days of being like just running game and not having anything else to you, those days are fucking done, guys. Like, you truly have to be a high value guy to be able to set these boundaries and standards, because the reality is you can't set these standards and boundaries and requirements of women unless you're high value yourself. You can only set these requirements if you're a high value guy, because then it's like, okay, he's actually being congruent with who he says he is, which congruency is like huge when dealing with women. Because if you portray yourself to be something that you're not, and you lie, like, you're gonna get your shit fucked up. Like, oh, I'm a lawyer, and then she goes on a date with you and has sex with you, right? And then like she finds out you fucking flip hamburgers at fucking Wendy's and shit. Next thing you know, she's coming at your neck, bro. She's either gonna get her cousins to whoop your ass, she's gonna stab you, or she's gonna say that he fucking raped me or some shit. Like, you cannot dupe women. You know what I mean? You're gonna take an L every time you do that shit. So you need to be genuinely high value and get your shit together as a guy in 2020, especially, man.
Shout out to Chris Pogson. Thanks, man.
Thanks for the super chat, man. Thank you, Chris.
But yeah, and what it comes down to really, like, again, is just, you should just be high value for yourself, right? Like, there's no reason, no excuse. A lot of guys use the excuse, like,
for sure,
I'm not gonna do all this shit because I'm not gonna be a simp. I'm not gonna simp for all these girls, and I'm not gonna do all this stuff for girls, just chasing girls. And it's like, no, why aren't you doing all this shit for yourself? Like, why aren't you going to the gym? Why aren't you getting jacked and making money and building businesses and develop your own mental toughness for your fucking self? Like, that's like, your life quality will be better, and you'll have more options, and you won't have to play any fucking games or pretend to be any shit that you're not. I mean, if you really want to like develop natural game, it's going to come from just being a fucking badass. Like you said, I think at the very beginning of this conversation, one of the things you were saying is, like, when you go to the gym, someone was asking about, like, how does this connect to going to the gym? Well, when you've done a whole bunch of tough shit and you've gone through fucking diets and what it takes to get six,
you won't tolerate bullshit from anybody, not just women. Like, if like someone disrespects you at a fucking bar, like, what? And you'll fucking, like, or if someone assaults you, you'll stand up for yourself, because you've been through that rigor where you're like, okay, I know what I've been through. This guy just fucking shoved me. I'm about to fuck him up. And I'm not sitting here saying, like, oh, beat people up at the bar, but like, you're gonna have that confidence to like defend yourself. You're gonna have that confidence to stand up to women that disrespect you or flake on you. You're gonna have that confidence to call a girl out. Dude, I'll tell you guys a story right now. Girls, I was texting. We're supposed to meet up for a date. I told her, hey, what's your IG? She didn't respond for a few hours. I texted. We're supposed to meet up after this at like 9. I texted her. I said, hey, I'm canceling the date because you didn't fucking because I'm not going to chase women around on text. She immediately responded, oh, I'm sorry. Here's the thing, whatever. And I'm just going to, and I keep my read receipts on, right? So I'm going to leave her on scene, because you got to let these girls know that you're not a fucking, you really got to set these boundaries and like punish them for when they do stupid shit. Because if you don't punish them, then they're going to think, oh, okay, I can get away with this again. So you need to let her know, like, you're not going to tolerate that shit. I'm just going to leave her on scene for a bit. Then maybe I'll respond tomorrow or later tonight. But tell her, oh, you got to take me out now. And that's how you got to do it with a lot of women, man.
Now you can have her pay.
Yeah, now, yeah, exactly. There we go. APR.
Context, right? Now you're like, you fucking owe me. All right, you got like, yeah, I'm serious.
So APR, I'm gonna tell her to pay.
and yeah, and she'll be like, ha ha ha, and you're like, no, I'm fucking serious, bitch. Like, you owe me. Like,
yeah,
seriously. Like, I'm not joking. You look like I'm joking. Then you have context. Now it's congruent. Now you could do it. Now APR can be happy. And that
you got to punish bad behavior, man. Especially nowadays. You have to set yourself apart from all these guys. And here's the thing, like for the guys that like, you know, that you were talking about before, like, oh, why do I need to self-improve? I just want to play video games and masturbate all day. It's like, if you don't okay, so male confidence, right? Like men, let's face it, we are a hierarchy-based sex.
Exactly.
When a doctor walks in a room, or a fucking millionaire, or like a successful entrepreneur walks in a room, all the guys immediately start, sizing each other up. Because when men meet, what do? We shake each other's hand. What do you do for a living? We define each other by our professions, how much money we earn. Women define themselves, whether they want to accept it or not, on how they look. Like, oh, is she pretty? Is she not pretty? Whatever. Like if a woman's like a lawyer, right, but she's not that attractive, and then there's like another woman that's like, 18 and hot, but she's in college. She's like, well, that's cool that you're a lawyer, but like you're you're ugly. You know what I mean? Like I can get a higher value guy than you, right? So with men, we base each other on hierarchy. So like, for these guys that say, oh, I don't want to do the work because I'm not chasing women, bro, it's not about the fucking women, man. It's about doing it for yourself, and then the women are a byproduct. Shout out to Rich Cooper, man, one of my coaches. Like, chase excellence, and then the women are gonna come. Like that's just how it is. You're not doing it for the women. The women are a byproduct, and if you choose to deal with them, you can. But you still got to work on yourself anyway, because there's so many positives that come with it. Because you can apply these principles. Like obviously we're talking about women right now, but like when friends flake on you, if coworkers disrespect you, your boss is on some fucking bullshit, you'll have the nuts to stand and tell them like no. You know what I mean? Telling people no is like a powerful thing, not just with women on dates, but like you can take these same principles into other endeavors in your life. And then when you get good with women, if you get good with women, you're automatically going to get good at reading body language, and you're going to be able to apply that to other facets. So like, let's say you're at a bar and like someone starts displaying some aggressive behavior. Well, you'll see the punch coming, you know what I mean? Or you're with a friend and they're like acting weird or suspicious or whatever. You might be able to see like some awkward body language from them and figure out something's wrong. So like it applies to other endeavors, and then and that's why it's like important to get these things handled as a guy, because it has other aspects that are important.
And so many people are not able to say no, right? Like one test I always do, like when I have coaching clients in person and as well, or just someone that I met.
You shove the fuck out of them, right?
I do. And I see how many times am I going to shove them before they actually like stand up for themselves and get pissed. Some people will start apologizing to me. Uh-huh. They're like, "What'd I do, man? I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm fucking pushing you."
Yeah.
Or another one too that I was going to say. I wasn't even going to say the shoving one. I was going to say, how many times you walk by, like, well, here at least, like a homeless person, right? And they're asked, "Oh, do you have any change?" And then I listen to see like how many people say, "Oh, sorry, I don't have any," versus how many people say, "No," or like just like, or if they're asking like, "Do you have any change to spare?" And you're like, "No, I don't have it." Like, I'm not giving you any, right? Like that's the answer that you should be like. If you're bullshitting, like, okay, if you can't stand up to a homeless person and tell them the honest truth that you don't want to give them money, right, then you're not going to stand up to anyone, right? If you have to make up an excuse and be like, again, this is, and guys ask, why do girls give you the phone number or say they're interested when they're not? It's the same reason why you tell the homeless person that you don't have any change on you when your pockets are fucking full of change, instead of saying, I don't want to give you any money.
I'm gonna start. I usually ignore them because here in Miami they're annoying as fuck. Yeah. And like sometimes I'll just like stare at them and I'll just like keep walking. But I'm gonna start saying no, bro. And there's this one guy, fucking, for anyone that lives here in Miami, there's this fucking one guy who walks around with a crown. You guys know who I'm talking about. He fucking walks around Brickell Ave and fucking in a king uniform, bro, in like a king outfit, asking for money and shit. And he's always fucking annoying me. And he always asks me for money only when I'm with a girl, bro. It's annoying. Yeah. Gets me fucking mad. So I'm gonna tell him no next time, dude. And the thing is, like, so we're homeless people, right? All right, I'm gonna keep it real. I don't, if I see like an able-bodied homeless guy asking for money, I get pissed. And the reason why I get angry is because my father came to this country from Sudan, didn't speak a fucking lick of English, right? He came in the 80s and he lived in New York City, in Brooklyn, when it was fucking dangerous as shit, right? In the worst part of Brooklyn. And he was a cab driver and he got robbed multiple times. He got ran over, and he was able to figure it out and like, end up buying 2 houses and get his life handled and, have us and raise us and everything like that in a stable household. So when I see these fucking homeless guys asking for money, because I remember my dad always used to drill in my head, you're going to fucking be a somebody. Because if I was born in the United States, I'd be a doctor. I'd be a fucking lawyer. you're not going to be a fuck up. And he always used to fucking scream at me when I wanted to play Halo 2 and shit like that. Because I used to play video games at a very high level back in the day in 2006 and 2007. I played Halo 2 semi-professionally. But he always used to scream at me for that shit. And I was just like, Dad, what the fuck? But now as an adult, I look back and I say, damn, thank you. You know what I mean? I thank my dad all the time when I talk to him on the phone. And I see how hard he worked. So I just cannot like respect able-bodied homeless guys because my dad came from a third world fucking country, which is true poorness, oh, I didn't eat. Oh, all right, bro. Try being in the fucking desert with like camels and shit in Sudan, like with a war going on. So it's like, I just can't feel that same, no, man. You're born in the United States. You got to make something of yourself, man.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, it's a little different when people have like total like mental issues.
Yeah.
Those people, you can usually recognize them. I'll throw them some money.
For sure.
Or something, because it's it's a bad. But yeah, an able-bodied.
Yeah, mental illness. Yeah, that's why I said able-bodied. But like able-bodied man, you're having a full coherent conversation with me. You got 2 hands. You got 2 legs. You look like you even got a little bit of muscle on you. What the fuck are you doing asking me for money on in the middle of Miami, bro? It's like.
Yeah, the big point is though that you should be doing like things because you either want to or don't want to, not because you feel obligated or it's awkward to you to say no to someone, right? That's where the practice comes in, is like just being honest with people when you say no, just saying no. And then also not giving an excuse. Like one of the things that I also practice along the same lines is a good one here is like, let's say that like when I start an email or something, or you're tempted a lot of times, like let's say you took 3 days to get back to someone via email, like your fingers start to type sorry I was right, and then it's like no, you can't say sorry. Okay, and then you're like, I'm finally catching up with my email, and like no, you can't type that because that's an explanation, right? So it's like you can't apologize, you can't make an excuse, you just start typing your damn thing, right? And that's like when you start drilling that into your fucking head, and I do it all the time with email, like now it's pretty much just second nature. Like I just don't apologize. I just don't fucking explain myself. And especially when you tell someone no, you don't get to follow up with a fucking explanation. You just say, you're just no is just no. There's no, justifying it.
That's true.
Then you start to like develop that mindset. And then that's where, like it will come out, especially in game and because now I just fucking say what I say.
One of the worst things a guy can do is like explain himself to a girl, man. Don't fucking do that shit, guys. Like, unless you like, even when man, you just don't, because it's a sign of weakness. And the thing is that like women are so socially calibrated to look for weakness that like, even though you're being honorable and you're explaining that like something bad happened or whatever the fuck, it's still probably you're gonna lose attraction points regardless. So like, just don't explain yourself. Just like, whatever. I'm like, it is what it is. All right, let's get a drink. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you can even make up for things, right? Like if you actually do something wrong, rather than apologizing or explaining yourself, you just like do the thing. You're like, shit, I'm late. That's like a declaration. I owe you a drink.
There you go. That's what I've done. I've done that.
Totally fine, because now you're not explaining it yourself, you're not apologizing, you're just acknowledging what happened. And and even the same thing in a work environment, right? It's like if you show up late for your work, you don't tell your boss, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. You don't say, whatever. You just fucking own it. You just say, I'm late, I don't have an excuse.
Done that before too, yeah, for sure.
I'm ready to get to work now though, or if you need to handle this in some way, I'm ready for that as well, right? That's how you fucking take it like a man, rather than making an excuse. Everyone's got some fucking excuse. Like, you go in there and do that. In fact, try it out. If you're a fucking one of those people that are late.
Or if you're a high performer, they're not even going to fuck with you, man. That's next level. Like when you're so high performing that you just do whatever fuck you want. Like, all right, I'm not going to fuck with him. Like he gets his shit done. All
right, Myron, I think we should be wrapping this up. I got some hunger. I got to eat.
Nah, no worries, man. Same here.
But yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, dude. This was fun. This was good.
Yeah, check out Myron's channel. I put a link in the description here. Just click it down below. He's got a nice little trailer on there about being lied to.
Yeah, Unplugged Fitness, guys. My IG is Unplugged Fit, Twitter, Facebook page. Follow me on there, guys. I'm getting more active in the sphere. Gonna be more active on the social media. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the content. I apply like a science-based lens to fitness with the studies and helping guys get aesthetic naturally, and I'm drug free, lifetime natural. So I believe in training that way and helping guys get in shape to be aesthetic with the science-based lens. So yeah,
awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate all you guys too.
Thanks for having me on, bro.
We appreciate some of the conflict going on here. We don't all.
APR, man. We don't hate you, bro.
Yeah.
This girl, she's gonna pay. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nick, thanks to the guys for the super chats, and thanks for all the guys watching, man. We appreciate it. Good stuff.
Right.
It's a good stream.
Right. Take care, everyone. All right.